Welcome back.
Happy birthday.
Next level play. It is Chase's birthday. Let's make a big deal of it.
I was saying that to everybody at home.
Our director, it's his birthday, which, like, he's very humble and, like, you know, it doesn't. But, like, I just want to, like, really celebrate his birthday, which, like,
but
it's
also,
coming up, and that's a big deal.
Also.
Yeah. My birthday is irrelevant. Your birthday, irrelevant.
Not you. Not me.
But Chase's birthday is coming up, so, like, let's get excited for that birthday.
Hire a clown. Hire a candygram.
He already did, and his name is Marcus.
If it's your birthday, also happy birthday.
Welcome to Next Level Play, everybody.
I think that's the best opening we could do every time is say happy birthday, because
somebody's birthday. Somebody's going to be like, oh my God, they know me.
And then
everyone else is an NPC but me, and then now I love this show.
And then they'll get scared.
But like...
And they'll be like, how do they know me?
Would you rather be feared or loved? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Feared.
Love.
Exactly. So let's move on. Welcome to Next Level Play, your source for all things gaming, esports, Web3. I still don't know what that means. Anime, movies, pop culture, etc. My name is Marcus.
I'm Sydney.
And we're going to make some bold predictions. We're going to have a great guest who we had on yesterday.
Yeah, Jasiri is back today. We love Jasiri.
He really is so awesome.
He's the best.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll have him on another episode because there's no way we can talk. We have so much in common.
We're going to get to all of that, though.
Love the shows he loves the games he loves.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
It's been a little while. We're both sleep deprived. We're a little loopy. We're a little...
I'm fine.
Angry.
No,
We're a little, like, ready to start a revolution.
I feel great.
Esports revolution, because the future of esports and gaming is right here.
Right now.
Next Level Play.
Hello, and welcome back to Next Level Play podcast. Hi, Marcus.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm feeling myself.
Whoa.
I'm feeling good.
And it's funny because people say that, like, I'm feeling myself. No one ever knows what that means.
I mean...
Like, I'm feeling myself, and it's like, is that I'm feeling like who I am, I'm feeling embraced, I'm feeling... I'm hugging myself.
There's a lot of times in life where you feel like you have a little chip on your shoulder and you truly have nothing to lose.
Whoa.
But, like, it's rare that those times actually exist. And I'm feeling it in a way that's scratching an itch that needed to be scratched.
Ooh.
And I love it.
Ooh.
I love it. I love being here with you, Sydney. I love being able to talk about video games, movies, television. Speaking of which, I think that's our first topic for the day.
Yes. And we've talked about this before, so don't think that this is like a repeat episode. We're talking about some different stuff. But we simply must talk about The Last of Us, the television show, because the new season is out.
I love when streaming services respect my ability to, like, absorb a TV show on my own versus, like, capitalizing on the piecemeal little drip feed of a TV show.
I like the piecemeal drip feed because I think it makes you appreciate each episode more. And this is something I wanted to talk about.
To me, it makes me appreciate the TV format of, like, keeping me held on to manipulate me and, like, just jerk on my teats a little bit, which, like, I love. I'm really into that.
They're jerking on your teats?
They're jerking on my teats real good.
We watch different TV.
Clearly.
I was going to say, though, I think the sort of slower paced releases, this is one thing, and I really, really, really like the show adaptation of The Last of Us. We've kind of talked about it a little bit, and we're doing a tier list about faithful adaptations of things, which I believe The Last of Us is, for the most part, pretty faithful. The story of the video game is really, really beautiful. And I think the one thing I regret is that...
Beautiful is one word, but, like, it's...
hard, intense, emotional.
It's a work of art, I'll say that. It's a work of art. It's an impressive work of art, yes. Beautiful is a strong word.
The one thing that I kind of feel bad for people who are just watching the show and enjoying it, they probably are not going to go and play the game. And the game itself is a cinematic experience. And I think part of the game are these highs and lows, these intense boss battles, you know, where you're fighting the clickers, the zombies, things are happening. And then it slows down and you get a breather where, you know, you play guitar in an auditorium in the game. You have the option to just like kind of hang out for a second. And these slower moments, because the TV show is a TV show and they got to get the plot rolling, it doesn't hit as hard. It's an action show. It's an action, you know, thriller zombie show, and that's how people see it. but the game is so much more than that. I don't know. How do you feel? The second season is out now, and already the buzzards are flocking, and people are picking stuff apart.
I think I held my tongue a lot in season 1, where all I could give it was praise, because this is an adaptation. HBO is making it. We're talking Chernobyl and Game of Thrones level budgets of, like, you're making with Pedro Pascal is arguably like one of the biggest draws on the planet. Like, not like a top television actor. We're talking like top 5 actor on the planet right now. Like, I don't think I'm being exaggerative.
Gladiator film, like he's in blockbuster films.
He's a huge fucking star. He's a very, very busy guy. And this is great for gaming. This is great for narrative in gaming. This is arguably the greatest video game adaptation of all time. And that's a big deal that should be celebrated. As a gamer who, like, hasn't been taken seriously for a long time, we've talking about anime all day, and, like, gaming community is somewhat similar, where it's like doesn't really have the same respect as, say, the film industry and the television industry.
Sure.
But I think we need to address the elephant in the room, where it's how much are we going to pander to the mainstream TV and film people on, like, what The Last of Us is without realizing. You know, like, the articles coming out now of people shocked by the spoilers of, sorry, spoilers, Joel fucking dies at the beginning of Last of Us Part 2. And the fact that everyone's like, oh my God, they killed. It's like, how do you not know that already? This was a huge story in 2019 when the game came out, and it's disrespectful towards the gaming community to act like this is some big revelatory type fucking thing. And like, we have to pretend that, like, oh yeah, and it's like Last of Us 2 was controversial enough as is, and now we're just going to recycle the same stuff for the movie people and the TV people to catch up.
I don't feel that way, because I think back to when I was playing Last of Us 2 during quarantine. First game I ever streamed was the first Last of Us, and I was very attached to it.
Yeah.
And when that part of the story hits in Last of Us 2, when your fucking horse dies, Joel dies, like you lose so much as Ellie. It hits. It really does. And I think for viewers of the TV show, it hits. And, you know, they also love Pedro Pascal, the actor.
Great. Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, I feel so attached, you know?
There's flashbacks coming up, so don't fucking worry. It's like he's still in half the fucking series. I promise.
But that being said, I don't feel the way you feel. I think they're having a different experience. They have a different attachments to the characters. And that's fine. And that's okay, because it's made for television. They made it into a TV show. They have to continue with the storyline. I mean, would you rather they change things? I sure wouldn't.
And obviously, Last of Us 2 had a lot of controversy.
Yeah.
And, like,
we remember when the game came out, everybody was super mad about a female character.
Well, it's not even. Well, it's a lot of things why people were mad about Last of Us 2, which we can get into that argument.
It's so dated.
It is dated, and yet they're digging it back up. All right, they're beating that Drummond, the Neil Drummond. That was clever.
Nice.
It's fine. But I don't care about, like. Let me just take a little step back. It's just we're reliving everything that we've already relived, and, like, yeah, like, I'm a fucking white straight dude. Like, but The Last of Us 2 didn't piss me off. I actually really, really like Last of Us 2. I thought the narrative was maybe a little preachy at times. For me, as someone who's, like, an ally, but also feels like politics have gotten really messy and, like, was stirring up some things, I'm very curious what that, with certain characters, certain child characters' portrayal, how that'll be received in the modern day. That was not my problem with Last of Us 2. I thought it was a little, like, getting rid of Joel. Here's both my compliment and my insult towards Last of Us 2, and it's more of a compliment. We've had our expectations subverted so many times with Lost and J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson with Episode 8 and yada, 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 yada. Last of Us 2 subverted expectations and actually offended people. Everyone. Like, on every side. You killed the best character. If you're at all, like, not within a certain kind of, ally mindset, you're really going to be challenged by Last of Us 2. You're going to be challenged in that you kind of hate Ellie. You're going to be challenged in that a character that you fucking hate, that you've hated for the last 10 hours, you now are forced to play with. Yeah. That is actually subverting expectations. That's not like, ooh, it's a little twist you didn't expect. No, This is like forcing you to be uncomfortable, which I respect the hell out of. Yeah. Politics aside, which I agree with most, but it's a little preachy. But, like, really, though, like, I fucking respect that. And most people, most gamers especially, fail to do so. Yeah. And now we're putting that in the TV and the movie audience, which is going to be tough. Yeah. And I think there's going to be but we had these debates 3 years ago. the end of the day, for me, Last of Us Part 2 was a 20 to 25 hour experience of tight, excellently executed gameplay, where Last of Us 1 is arguably the best narrative of any video game ever, with 6 hours of gameplay that I beat in 3 nights. I prefer Last of Us 2 as a video game.
I mean, I hear you on a lot of those points.
My angry points.
I had no issues with The Last of Us 2, and it came out, during a time when, there was a lot of, like, political shit, and people were really vocal about stuff
Those
online.
issues are arguably more relevant now than they are
Sure,
then. Yeah.
sure. I don't know. I never had an issue with any of that. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. She's gay. Who cares? But I think what I struggled with was...
That's not the controversy, by the way, that she's gay.
What? Was that not the controversy?
I think you gotta play Last of Us 2 again, but yeah.
Last of Us 2 again. I was hurt when Joel died, but it means that the story moves forward. Like, Ellie couldn't have become who she was if Joel were to live, because of the conflict between the two characters at the end of the first game. So what you're saying with the TV show where people are like, oh, my favorite character, whatever, as long as they stick to the story as it was in the video game.
Which they might have strayed from because of the controversy from Part 2.
And also to protect the actors in ways where they might have switched stuff up.
I don't give a fuck about that.
The one thing that
they're making $10 million on the season. Like, I don't care about how the actors are affected.
That I struggled with during the game was Ellie's sort of like immature emotional responses to things. She was very frustrating to play at times. And yes, it's sort of an open world game, quote unquote, but it's not. You're railroaded and you don't really get to make.
I wouldn't call it an open world
I wouldn't.
game.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, no.
It's a railroaded game where your choices kind of don't. No matter what you do, the game happens. The things happen. The dominoes fall. And I definitely was frustrated as a player playing Ellie as a character. 2/3 of the way through the game.
That's the point.
Which is the point.
Yes.
So, like, you don't want to do what she's doing, but that is who she's become because of the world, because of what's happened in the past. Then when you play as the other character who you hate and who you've learned to hate through Ellie's eyes, you have these visceral reactions. I think that is beautiful storytelling. Yeah. It's like films that make people uncomfortable and they think it's a bad film.
Right.
You didn't understand the film.
It's like a Kubrick film that like is hated and then becomes, again, Last of Us 2 subverted expectations for some staunch fan bases that like we're used to expectations being subverted, but not truly.
But I
and
would
it
say
actually like was like
at the time
it was a challenge.
At the time, a big challenge.
Yeah.
Looking back now, I think it is highly applauded.
Yeah.
I think you would be pressed to find people who are as vocal as they were back then.
If you're a hardcore video gamer who plays on hard mode because you like to be challenged and you were offended by The Last of Us 2's narrative, I think you're missing the point.
Fake gamer.
No, but honestly, like and that was the effort, and I think it succeeded.
And beyond that, gotta
Go
just
ahead.
talk about the game itself, the mechanics of the game, crafting bombs and weapons, the shooting, the creatures. Like, it is such a magnificent world that they have created, and mechanic-wise and combat-wise, you could sneak through that whole game.
Yeah.
Like, you could not kill people, during those, not the cutscenes and stuff, but like during the actual gameplay.
Right.
It's just a really well-crafted game. And again, my only real thing to say about this new season is that I wish people will experience the game. Like, I wish they will go back
and that's kind of
play the game.
To me, it's a weird dichotomy where The Last of Us, the series, has come out and it's given us so much validation. Gamers have been talking about how great the narrative of Last of Us has been for the last decade, and then the show comes out and everybody agrees and is like, oh, this is amazing. To where now everyone's getting kind of, shanghaied by the new twist of season 2, and it's a double-edged sword of like, we're also feeling even more validated as gamers, like, yeah, we tell challenging stories, don't we? But also, like, there's a bit of an elephant in the room of like, this spoiler was spoiled years ago, and it feels a little like, as gamers, we're not seen as a serious medium when there's a New York Times and Wall Street Journal and Washington Post article about like how shocked we were all at the, where if The Last of Us season 1 was not an invitation to play season 2, like, how can you be a fan of the series and not know that giant spoiler in season 2? It almost feels like there's a little bit of pandering towards it, where they don't actually give a fuck until like the show comes out, and it's like a shallow story to them.
No, I disagree.
There's no meta within it, and it's like, again, am I the only one that's a little thrown off by like the shock of this big twist that we've already addressed years ago?
I disagree. I would love to see the faces of the fans of the show when that twist happens, because it was how we looked when we played the game. And isn't that cool that they were able to achieve that and that it wasn't spoiled for them, even though the game came out, in 2021 or whatever.
Right.
But the one thing I fear for the future of it are the Walking Dead syndrome of trying to make a spin-off game or something to go back to, now that the show has been so successful, to go back and try to do a spin-off game. Believe me, if you do more Last of Us stuff, I'm there. Like, I loved the game. I'll be a supporter if it's good, but I'm worried it's not going to be good. I'm worried they're going to go in a direction because they're trying to drag out and just wring the towel.
And that's what I'm worried about, is the Game of Thrones situation where we're already out of source material and we're only 2 seasons in, and it's like there's still, obviously the show is already caught up to the game, and the next game is not going to come out anytime soon. And the show can be produced in the next year, so like, what the fuck are we going to do?
God, don't do another show.
They probably will.
It's
HBO.
I'm even talking about spin-off games that I fear they're going to be like, here's a side characters, side spin-off game, and it's the same thing.
I mean, they've been milking re-releasing the first 2 plus the DLC of the first one for the last literally 15 years. So like, what are we?
Well, they did just release a complete edition alongside with both 1 and 2 like combined.
Like, who's buying this? I mean, they're trying to capitalize on the people who watch the show.
Yes. So when they Google it, the first thing that comes up is like the new edition to buy, and
I know I'm coming off a little elitist and a little like, oh, how do they not know these spoilers? Which, like, if you're a TV fan and you don't care about video games and you love this story, like, good for you for avoiding. Truly, like, I'm envious of it, but I can't help but feel like there's something that we're not addressing here, where this twist is a big deal. Whereas Harry Potter, okay, when we saw Half-Blood Prince in the theaters when we were in 9th, 10th, whatever grade, I'm sorry, 95% of that audience, if not 99% of that audience, knew that Dumbledore was going to die.
Yeah.
And there's something different here with adapting a video game to like a seriously taken, critical acclaimed TV
HBO show.
Yeah. And there's clearly a much bigger audience of people who are a fandom of a medium that's not video games moving to film and TV versus video games, where it's like, there's, again, this spoiler is a new spoiler somehow, and there's something here where there's like people who are forcing themselves. I don't even say that. The fact that the story is having attention is great for video gaming.
That's what I'm saying. Ultimately, that's what I'm saying. And so what if they make another, remaster and send it out as a pretty bow package? It's not for us. It is for the fans of the show, and I hope they check it out.
Last thing, I'm a little skeptical about Last of Us Season 2, which is already having some critical problems. Narratively, I think it's going to fall flat compared to Season 1. Some stories are told better through video games.
Yes, I agree. And I'm excited to watch the second season, and we'll talk about it on a future episode. But I did want to also talk, jumping to another topic, things being stretched out over time. Are we sick of it? Are we not? New teaser dropped for the Avengers Doomsday. The teaser is kind of funny. The thing I'll say about Marvel is they like to have fun. On the press tours, there was something going on where for this teaser, not this video I'm talking about, but other ones, Paul Rudd's director chair, with his name on it, was really, really small on stage. That's funny. That's funny.
I get it.
This teaser was basically, if you haven't seen it, camera tracking back on every back of each director chair with all the star-studded cast that has been announced for Avengers Doomsday. And we've got fucking everybody. I mean, it's the Avengers, it's X-Men, it's the Fantastic Four, it's Channing Tatum's in it as Gambit. Everybody's making a reappearance as characters they've played. And then at the very end, the last chair, who is it?
Robert Downey Jr. Wow.
Not as Iron Man, but as Doomsday. Here's my thing. Right off the bat, I am into it because Marvel likes to have fun. I'm into it because it's a star-studded cast. I think it will be a fun movie. It's going to be a summer blockbuster, bonanza. It's in production right now. Who knows when it's going to be out? I think maybe 2026. But the only thing that gives me pause is just because Robert Downey Jr. stepped down and gave up his role as Iron Man. Why cast him as Doomsday? I just don't understand.
This is an old debate, but like,
what?
Well, when that first casting came out, people were like, "What the fuck?" Because
he said he wasn't going to be Iron Man,
right?
Yeah,
and so I found a loophole, and like we could still get to keep.
I'm just like,
I have not seen this trailer.
It's not even a trailer. This is like a teaser. You don't have any. Trailer. They're in production, so no trailer. I love Robert Downey Jr. and I liked the Avengers films. Endgame was great. Infinity War was. I saw it in theaters. Did I tear up? A little bit. I just don't know.
None of that is earned. None of that is earned. None of that is fucking even close to earned. And I'm honestly mad. Like, I was fine with it. I've been holding back, but somehow you describing that teaser trailer to me really pisses me off because Marvel already has a reputation of being a self-fulfilling profit maker of like, oh, it's the new Marvel movie, they're gonna see it. Where you're literally just banking on your own property and the recycling of your own property to keep things in theater, taking over theaters. It's the only movies that make money, and you gotta pay these actors millions, and you gotta market it with $500 fucking million. Like, it's ridiculous. And so now they literally have already resorted to playing on nostalgia. Iron Man 1 came out in 2008, okay? When Star Wars Episode 1 was, like, talking about, like, it's nostalgia, going back to, like, 77, yeah, that's, like, arguably a similar, but we were dry on Star Wars for 15 years. We're not dry on Marvel. We're fucking sick of Marvel. That's the critique. So the fact that literally their promo is them sucking their own fucking dicks and being like, look at these people that we got that you've seen for the last 15 years. Robert Downey Jr. Endgame came out fucking 6 years ago. That's not a long enough time to miss Robert Downey Jr. Indiana Jones, like, it was like 20 years, and his movie still sucked when he came back, but, like, it was nice to see Indiana Jones. No one's, like, begging for Robert Downey Jr., who just won an Oscar. I'd love to see Robert Downey Jr. take a challenging role. I'd love to see him play Charlie Chaplin again. That was a great fucking film.
That was.
He doesn't do that anymore. He plays Iron Man and fucking Mr. Doom. So I'm angry that they're so masturbatory with this trailer that I haven't seen, but the way you're describing it, Disney, how are you this unself-aware? And I can't believe I'm asking that out loud because I know the answer. Like,
I also think
sake.
I also think I said Robert Downey Jr. is playing Doomsday. Sorry, Robert Downey
What
Jr.
did I
is playing
say?
Doctor. You
Thank
said
you.
Mr. Doom, and I said the wrong. Doctor. Just insert that everywhere. Doctor Doom.
Well, I know all the hardcore Fantastic Four fans who exist, which I studied that comic.
I do
in my
like
queer theory courses in college.
I do
love
like,
Fantastic Four. No one gives a fuck about Doctor Doom. Okay? I'm.
In the teaser, I really did like the music. It was a mashup of the X-Men theme into the Avengers theme. It was actually like really nice. It was like a beautiful piece. I forget who does it, but there.
You know what would do better than another Avengers movie with Doctor Doom?
What?
X-Men cross Avengers. Boom. That's a movie. People would see it like crazy.
I mean, this is that movie.
Because everyone's like, I've been obsessed about Doctor Doom my whole life. He's just such an interesting like villain that like
I love Doctor Doom as a villain.
Oh yeah, he's so good.
No, I'm being serious.
Okay,
Doctor Doom is a super OP villain.
What's so great about him? I'm genuinely curious.
He controls robots.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like Magneto?
No, like he's like a scientist and he control. See,
I like MF Doom.
I like MF Doom too.
I could look for one beer right now. That's what I need, actually.
Doctor Doom is a great villain, and I'm excited for this. Like, to see.
I'm gonna be a dick. Why is he a great villain?
He's really intelligent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he's a doctor.
Yeah. He's really intelligent. He's like a scientist. He's a doctor. He can create these Doom bots that are sort of like minions to him. Like, he's a very strategic enemy as opposed to I don't even know, like a green.
Who's the Avengers like villain who's all about like the strategy games that they make? You know what I'm talking about?
Who?
There's like the Taskmaster.
Oh,
Taskmaster.
Taskmaster.
Yeah, that's an interesting villain.
But that's Doctor Doom is extremely intelligent.
Okay.
And I'm curious what the fights will be.
That's true, because all the other villains that are like interesting are just dumb as a post. So like that sets him apart because he's smart. He's a smart villain versus like versus like Lex Luthor. He's a dumb
I'm
villain.
just saying, we haven't seen him yet. You know, they're not bringing back Doc
we
Ock.
have.
When?
2004, Chris Evans, the original like Fantastic Four.
That one doesn't count.
Oh, okay.
That one doesn't count.
Yeah.
That one doesn't count. That was a mess up. Just like the Miles Teller one doesn't count. That was another mess up.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah,
they did
right,
it again.
exactly.
So let's bring him back again.
I will probably watch this. I love the comics and I love the Marvel Multiverse TTRPG. So I really have an affinity for Marvel now. In a way, not necessarily their blockbuster films, but you know, there is the cynical side of me that's like, well, maybe they'll fuck this one up and learn their lesson.
Well, and that's the thing.
That
It's
they
like
can't rely on just the names on the backs of the chairs.
you had your Marvels and you had your Black Widows and you had a bunch of Marvel films that have frankly failed. And so they're like, let's go back to what works, which is Robert Downey Jr.
Well, they also go back to, well, what worked? Well, Endgame had everybody in it. And it's like, well, yeah, that was the plot. Like that they had to be.
But it's what worked.
It was the
peak,
end game.
But that needed to be the end game.
Exactly.
Like it was literally called Endgame, and then they tried to milk this fucking cow, you know, and this poor fucking cow, like, its nipples are so sore.
And they're missing my favorite boy. Where's Peter Parker? Because he's not an Avenger.
Because he's like, hey, maybe I should look at my career beyond this fucking little.
Tom
like,
Holland
thing.
saw the contract. He was like,
honestly,
I'm
though,
so busy.
I mean, good for him.
He was like, I'm booked and blessed, baby. I
to
can't.
be able to transcend that shit. Like,
well,
good for you. Because I'm sorry, I don't think it's going to be able to last forever. Because we've reached the Endgame was what we were building towards.
Yeah.
And to act like they were just going to keep that on is like silly.
Curious to see when the trailer comes out. From the teaser, I was like, could be good, but I totally hear what you're saying. I want to end on a positive note. Do you want to say one more thing?
I do want to say one more thing.
Okay, last thing and then a positive note.
It's going to be clippable. Well, you know, we've had all of these experiments with like new IPs and kind of expanded IPs within the Marvel universe where they feel like, to me, the worst thing that could happen, not just for Marvel, not just for the fandom, but for movies as a whole, is if they come out with this new Avengers movie with all this returning cast and playing on the nostalgia, and it becomes, you know, a top 10 movie of all time.
Imagine.
And it's as good as like Endgame, which is what they're banking on. Any originality in Hollywood, which has already been suffering because of all this, which I'm not a Marvel hater. Some of the films are very, very good, but like, enough. We're sick of it. And if we reward them for this and go and see this movie, which I won't because I don't go to the theater a lot, but I know a lot of people will. And I'm not judging you if you will.
I might.
Because I didn't see fucking, you know, Black Panther or Endgame until it was like out on streaming. Yeah, I just like, you know.
I saw Endgame.
I was too busy watching like indie, because I like to go to the theater alone and like sit in the back with two people versus like
indie films.
People screaming chicken jockey and like throwing a fucking live chicken and eggs at the screen. So that's just me. But like, again, I'm rambling and I'm sorry.
Are you done?
Yes.
I would like to say one more thing before we end our segment here and jump to our wonderful interview. Speaking of original IPs that you're kind of reusing, whatever, this is one that I am not upset about in the least. Elder Scrolls, after an accidental leak, they did release Oblivion as a full remaster. I wouldn't even say it's a remaster. They entirely remade the game from the ground floor up. They built it on the Skyrim engine. Upped everything, the graphics, you know, the shading, the shadows, reflections, water, like all the things you could imagine for a remaster. But beyond that, they went above and beyond and they retraced, you know, sort of mapping of the characters' mouth movements to the VO lines. Amazing, because Oblivion, arguably the best Elder Scrolls game.
In my opinion.
In my opinion as well. But hard to play at this point because it is quite old.
Yeah. I think, to me, and it's a very, like, specific thing just with Bethesda and these games, particularly Fallout 3 and New Vegas and Oblivion. They came out kind of that like early Xbox 360 PC era, and they're janky. And they're not updatable, especially the console versions.
Buggy, yeah.
And yet they're so fucking
and
charming.
Beloved. So charming. I think charming is a great word.
It's such a weird, like, niche. Similar to, like, early 3D games like your Mario 64s and, like, Ocarina of Time. Flawed as fuck, but, like, the
NPCs?
You can't beat it.
Hello.
Yeah.
How are you?
Which I think to me, it reminds me of, like, an 80s, like, schlocky horror movie that, like, has heart.
It's campy.
Yes. It's like the budget for Friday the 13th 10th was way bigger than Friday the 13th Part 1, but, like, Part 1 has way more charm.
And there is something to be said, you know, when people do remakes and remasters, there are games that deserve it because they are so good, and people, 10 years, 15 years later, 20 years later, they deserve to be able to play the game properly on a system that is updated.
It's the same reason I love GoldenEye versus like a modern shooter. It's, you go from Oblivion to Skyrim, and this is a gross exaggeration, but you have like a team of like a dozen or two very passionate game designers doing their best versus like 200 game designers making a polished product for profit. And you can feel that difference. And New Vegas and Fallout 3 and Oblivion
the world of
were
Oblivion.
that flash in a pan. Like the budget and the creativity like kind of converged in a way where you didn't have Legend of Zelda 1 where there's 5 people working on it. And it's like, but also you had some budget to make some fucking awesome
and you
cool
had
stuff.
Great voice actors, and the world is so warm and beautiful. The story is great. I already bought it. I'm gonna stream it.
So
Sydney Gale on Twitch, come watch me play Oblivion.
So versus updating Elder Scrolls Online for the umpteenth time,
exactly.
This is the type of remaster, and this is the type of appeal to nostalgia that I'm all about.
Totally, 1,000%. And I'm glad we left on a high note because there was some shit we talked about today
Marvel,
that was rough.
Fucking sue me, come on. I got a lot of time on my hands.
Stick around, don't go anywhere. We are gonna have just Siri.
Let's try that again.
Yeah, I keep wanting to say just Siri. Stick around, don't go anywhere. We are gonna have just Siri back. We're gonna talk about definitely some more anime and cons and stuff. So stay tuned.
Oh, we had that cliffhanger last time. We asked him his favorite character.
We're gonna find out his favorite anime character. So stay tuned.
Next Level Play.
What's up, everybody? We're back with our favorite anime enthusiast, cosplayer, content creator, Jess Series. Oh, wait. Sorry. You must be mistaken. Guys, this is Nanami from Jujutsu Kaisen. I didn't think we would be interviewing you today. This is such a shock. I'm such a fan.
I'm just happy to be here. The overtime is great.
Whoa. Yeah, you're working hard.
Yeah,
You could tell from your tie. It's a little loose, though. Are you off
that
work
means he's
now?
already worked hard.
Yeah, he's had a long day.
But I'm keeping it, it's just to show.
This fit, Okay, so you put on the fit outside, and we all were like,
do you?
You have to. You simply have to. But
I didn't want to touch him because I'd get poked.
Yeah.
He's looking so sharp.
So sharp.
Yeah.
Too hot. Very fire. I have to admit, though, I haven't seen Jujutsu Kaisen, and I told you that in confidence. But I'm telling everybody because I don't want to come off as a loser who doesn't know what she's talking about. But could you, welcome back to the show.
Yes.
Could you speak on the fit today, but also please reintroduce yourself in case people missed the last episode.
We're throwing a lot at you. Please, we'd love, in case anyone missed yesterday, for you to introduce yourself as well as introduce yourself. You know what I mean?
All right. So, hey, y'all, I'm Jasiri. It's JASIR2Is_GQ, and I'm from NY. So,
the rhymes.
You're like, I'm a little bit of a rapper, too. Not really.
I was going to say, wait, for real? Because then you do it all. Then I would be like, wow, that's very impressive.
I'm quite the hype man. I'm just saying. I think I haven't, that's my, anyway, it'll happen. Go on.
So I need y'all on the intro of my next song. I got you.
Ready? I'll drop. I'll hit the drop.
You want
to
produce? I'll hype. You produce. I think that could.
You guys should not let me produce.
Yeah.
Oh God, making beats is like my worst possible production thing. Ask me to sing or play guitar, I could do it. Yeah. Can't make beats.
I can geek the fuck out. That's my skill. So call me.
You're in the background going, "Did you know that this anime was created?"
Just, like put a big old clock over my neck, and that's my life ambition right there.
We've got Jasiri back. We talked so much last episode. Oh, gosh, we talked about Comic-Con, about Anime NYC. We didn't get to talk about a lot of things that I did want to talk about, including your podcast.
Yeah.
You're on our podcast.
I want to get to know you as well.
Thank you for coming on. Definitely want to talk about that. But let's get into Jujutsu Kaisen for just a second. Some fans at home probably recognize this cosplay. Have you done this at a con?
Yes. And Daddy Nanami is a surefire cosplay.
Daddy.
Yes.
Zaddy. Is everybody immediately just like, okay, that's good. Yeah.
Pretty much, because it's just like, Nanami is that character that is I want to say, I don't want to go too far out of my realm, but top 5 most synth characters.
Really?
Yeah.
Who else is in the daddy rank? Like, who do people daddy these days in anime? I feel like I don't... Okay. A lot of anime is like young boys, so I'm trying to think. I'm like, main protagonists are mostly like, they have Naruto symptoms where they're just like a young boy trying to achieve greatness. So I'm like, My Hero out. Well, I guess, who could be in My Hero? Well, they're all like school kids. All right, not My Hero. Get that one out of here. I'm trying to think. Who would be daddy? One Punch? No. He's not really daddy.
Oh, actually, you do have one from My Hero.
Who?
Eraser. Eraser. They simped over
Okay,
him hard.
actually, shit. No, yes. Wait, yes. Actually, unfortunately, yeah. Yep, that's my type. Oopsie.
I mean, do Goku and Vegeta like not fit the daddy vibes like since basically the Buu saga, if not even before then? Like really, since Dragon Ball Z, they've at least Goku's
I feel like
been
the
a
daddy types, they always go for like the mysterious.
They went from young boy to daddy real quick, I feel like, with Dragon Ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, am I wrong? I don't know.
That's true. It's a little strange.
Yeah.
But I feel like people would daddy like Orochimaru before they daddy Goku, which is a hot take maybe. But you know what I'm saying?
That is definitely a hot take because I agree with you.
Right? Like there's something...
As much as I don't want to, I do agree with you.
I think Muscle Daddy is a different category. Like Goku, different category. He wouldn't be on par
What
with...
about, again, I'm very limited in my knowledge, but like Naruto, which again, I'm a little like thrown off
gets
by.
older.
I don't consider Naruto like a young boy archetype. I consider like
What the heck?
Goten or young Goku as like...
Naruto is a boy the whole time.
He's like a teenager.
There's
gets
Boruto
old.
now.
Compared
Boruto,
to
that's
how
true.
many young boys... I don't like where this
We're
conversation
going
is
in an
going.
anime, but people at home know what we're saying.
Naruto, I feel like I'm really showing my credibility at the door, but their whole like, one eye covered master, not Sasuke, but the other one with an S. Who's like the guy, the ninja guy with the gray hair and the lazy eye?
Chihiro?
No,
Just
not
Like
Jiraiya.
early
Jiraiya?
Naruto.
Naruto Sensei, Kakashi.
Oh,
Thank you.
Kakashi.
As a
Oh yeah, he is
You mean-
definitely 100% daddy.
Not his eye covered,
As a
his mouth.
yeah.
And we remember the episode where we discovered what's going on under there.
Yeah, and as a confused
Those lips?
as like a confused
That's
young
daddy.
man at like, early teenage phase discovering their sexuality. I settled on women, frankly. But like at the time I didn't know. And
Frankly.
I had a weird crush on Simon Cowell and
What were
the guy
you
from Naruto, which
what
had
were
weird
you
daddy vibes.
going through?
Puberty is what I'm going through, okay? It's a confusing time and I'm open about it, all right?
Okay, this brings up a good question. When you lean into a cosplay, do you lean into the character? Like, is it an acting thing sometimes where, like, you'll kind of vibe the character if you see somebody else from the show or the manga? Do you interact as characters? Or is that, like, weird to do?
Well, I'm not as good as the guy on my left, but I definitely 100%
Listen, we've
play
talked
into the
about like
character.
the fuckability of Toad on this podcast
Yeah,
before and how
our-
twinky he is.
our
So like, I'm
credibility.
sorry, like, yeah,
Our
Mario
credibility.
Toad?
well, like again, this was not my idea, but like we talked about how fuckable Toad was, and I said he would be very generous in bed, which I think is true, but he's also a little too twinky for my tastes. All right.
I've done videos. I've done a Smash rank list
Oh, yeah.
of Smash
You got
Ultimate.
oh, you poor thing. Thank you for taking that video. 'Cause,
Yeah,
Like,
so-
Oh my goodness, can I throw my mommy list out there?
Yes.
Yes, because
Is this an anime mommy list?
Yes, 100%.
it's better than the kids because that's what you got in trouble with Super Smash Brothers.
That's
so,
true. There's
yeah.
you didn't
too
know.
many children.
There's a
within
lot
Super
of
Smash
kids in
Brothers.
there. I would love to hear the mommy list,
Okay.
At least number one.
or at least like somebody on it, just to get a vibe check.
So last time I was Keithgate, but that was solely for Yoruichi.
Okay.
Yoruichi's cat pose is just like 100%, like, oh my goodness.
Okay.
And then Muscle Mommy is Miracle from My Hero. Like, my jaw drops. I drool.
1000% muscle mommy. Yes, I agree. I'm trying to think animes that I watch who would be a mommy.
Have you seen Fire Force?
No, should I watch Fire Force?
Yes, watch Fire Force.
Okay, this is like I've said it before in the previous episode. This is why I love having anime enthusiasts and like experts in, because this is how I get my recs. This is how I know, finger on the pulse. I'm like, okay, I need to watch this, and especially for the daddies and the mommies. That's why we're all watching anime, of course.
Clock it.
Have you? Okay, so you've done this at cons, and you get a great reaction because he's daddy. What else do you have, like a spectrum of costumes that's more like fun for you, fun for the fandom? Like, do you always go for, oh, this is going to get a great reaction, or some like very low key that maybe you wouldn't, if you know, but you get kind of like subtler reactions at cons?
So for the ones you know is like, I love those because like Lupin the Third and then Yusuke Urameshi is just like between those two, I'm just like, yeah. And the suits are real simple.
Yeah, you're wearing a suit. Yeah, you basically, that's true. Oh, that's interesting too. That's fun because the fan bases really come out then. If they spot you from across the way and they're like, are you doing what I think you're doing? I like that. Rather than like, yeah, you're Naruto. Oh, okay, we get you're Naruto. Exactly. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Or one of my favorite low-key ones is Kurama. Yoko Foxy Kurama from Yu Yu Hakusho.
Okay.
So I dressed up with the white with the tail. All I hear from the background is whiplash. I'm like, what? You're like, how you know? I got my rose whip right here.
That's so fun. Now I just want to watch more animes. Speaking of Rex, what would you recommend right now?
Ooh.
Are you watching anything right now?
Watching a couple things right now.
Okay.
So one, I just caught up on Solo Leveling.
Okay, so you caught up.
Yeah, and it was like, from the teasers that I keep on seeing, and especially people that keep on sending me that I need to read the manga. Yes, the manga, I will, because apparently there's a lot left out.
Okay, good to know, because I just started watching, and I don't know anything about the manga, so okay, good to know. I'm taking notes.
Another one that I'm currently watching, well, One Piece is back, finally. Can we give, oh my goodness, can we give that a clap? Finally,
Are
because
you fully caught up? Do you read the manga as well?
No,
Okay.
I had to stop because
It's a lot.
Blue Lock took over. Blue Lock, oh my goodness. Blue Lock is a masterpiece. It wasn't done justice in the last season, but for the storytelling, it was great. But the manga...
Okay, so you're reading that and watching it. Okay.
When I say that nobody's ready for what happens next animated, they better have the animation studios ready. Please, I beg you.
No spoilies.
No spoilies, but I will say it gets real.
So Blue Lock, how far are we into Blue Lock? Because I haven't watched it. Is it just one season so far, or
2 seasons?
2 seasons.
But when I tell you what happens next after this season, please watch Blue Lock. Please watch it, and I'm gonna send you the completely legal website to read it from.
Yes.
Because we do not pirate or support that.
You
here.
wouldn't steal a car,
No.
Right?
would you? Yeah, send me that. Send me that later. We won't talk about that on air.
We won't. But yeah, I got you completely.
Heck yeah. Okay. I'm always curious because I have friends who are super into One Piece and they like religiously read it as well. And One Piece is so ginormous that it feels. I'm scared. I'm like, where do I start? How do I? Episode 1. I just have to like start right now. It seems scary.
Okay, so what I say is, I'm not gonna lie to you. Again, shout out to Kilowatts Fit, because if it wasn't for him, I would not have restarted One Piece.
You restarted it.
Yes, I restarted it. But I restarted it after the 4 Kids, because the regular start and the 4 Kids starts are 2 completely different things.
It's like Brotherhood and just regular full on. So you would recommend 4 Kids?
I would recommend reading it.
Reading it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because either that or watch the adaptation.
You like the adaptation?
I love it because I'm not going to lie to you.
Skip the filler.
It skips the filler, 100%.
I wouldn't know. But yeah.
Well, technically, that's not spoilers.
Does I have to ask? Does One Piece have filler in the way that like Naruto had filler, where truly some episodes were just like so unimportant to the main storyline?
Yes.
Okay. So
They definitely
similar.
do.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna lie. One Piece is a little bit more fun than Naruto.
Okay.
Because sometimes the Naruto fandom, and you know what, I'll take this as a hot take, but sometimes the fillers just didn't make any sense, and I know that's what fillers are for, but it truly did not make sense at the worst time, because it's like, yeah, we're in the middle of the war. What happened?
Yeah.
Robot Naruto. What?
Yeah.
What? Oh, okay, I guess it's cool, but why?
And
Which
we
is
all
my
got
observation.
shrunk down, and it's just like
One
okay.
Piece has never taken itself to it's a fun pirate adventure, which
Yeah.
Dragon Ball, and even with like Dragon Ball Z, when the stakes got raised to ridiculous cosmic levels, it's like you fit all in the filler episodes in between the sagas, because it's like it makes sense to have a driving lesson with Piccolo and Goku when like between Frieza and Cell, but not
Right.
like during the middle of the fucking apocalypse on Earth.
Here's why I think I could be like God's strongest warrior for this, because I've watched all of Naruto. I made it a thing. I was like, I'm going to watch every episode, even the filler episodes, because I want to fully experience what I missed as a kid. There's no need. I can tell you, having done it, there's no fucking need. You do not have to. It's not worth it. Yeah. But I think now I could much more appreciate skipping it for One Piece, knowing that it's like, it's okay. You don't have to like platinum watching anime.
Well, and that's what I'm curious about too. It's as someone who really like was genuinely into anime from like year 2001 to 2006. You know, and I was a kid. I was a little kid. But I almost feel like some of my trepidation to really kind of like be an anime guy is I'm so overwhelmed and I can't help but feel like there's this faction between, it's similar to like retro gamers and modern gamers, or like I love 70s movies and 90s movies and like I struggle to keep up with like modern TV, which I feel like are the two. So with anime, it's like, it's such an interesting medium in that
for the new stuff coming out versus
when you come to other long form entertainment like daytime TV and Days of Our Lives soap operas, or like WWE wrestling, which is something that I actually follow.
High five.
Hell yeah, dude. But it's like these are stories that are built over decades.
Yeah.
But you don't really need to pay like super close attention to them. It's like I know who Stone Cold Steve Austin is. I've watched him for years, and now he's back 20 years, and like that's enough context. Everything going on with John Cena right now is built over 20
and The
years.
Rock,
but you don't need to watch the 3-hour Monday Night Raw every fucking week to know what's going on.
True.
Like, that's the art. Like, and I feel like anime is not a weird, but like a mix between that.
Some people feel like you
passive, like, but and also like The Sopranos, where you need to know every episode and every character, and it is kind of a weird kind of in between. So for me, I've always felt like, I've just been busy like going to college and building a career, and
I have no time for childish things.
No, but but like I chose movies and video games. I didn't choose anime, and now like it's a super welcoming, amazing community. But I feel like I'm 20 years behind, and yet I see all this embracing of the animes that I remember as a kid.
Yeah.
So where is it all kind of just again very open question, but is it all kind of connected, or is there kind of a retro versus modern faction type of thing, or a little bit of both? I'm curious.
So I would say like for the community is all connected, but there are definitely factions because when it comes to old and new, I promise you the argument is there, because it's like the whole concept. Can I talk about the concept of the big three real quick?
Well, wait. Yes, I have no idea what this is. Please.
Okay, so the big three started because that's when Shonen came back and like brought anime back since Dragon Ball Z. So Dragon Ball Z was one of the catalysts for anime. Okay. Especially being young and being on Cartoon Network. It was like, all right, cool, that's that driving hole. But then it went dry.
In the late 90s, yeah.
But then when Bleach came out, everybody stuck to Bleach, everybody stuck to Naruto, everybody stuck to One Piece, and all three of them were the big three because those were the three that brought anime back to the forefront.
Dragon Ball wasn't even in. I thought Dragon Ball was in the big three. It's not.
No, it's above the big three.
Oh, it's like the Godfather.
It's Grandpa.
You got Michael, and you got Sonny, and you got
so interesting.
So
Bleach, One Piece, and Naruto.
Yep.
So do people feel like those are the pillars of now modern anime, and that if you haven't watched those, you don't deserve to watch like Solo Leveling or more modern, Devil May Cry, like whatever's coming out now? Do people have that opinion, or are they just like, do your own thing?
It's more like the people that still believe in the big three, the original big three, are like, we love everything that's coming afterwards. Okay. But then you have, and I'm taking shots, and then you got the newer generation where it's like, One Piece is trash, it's too long. Naruto is trash, it's too long. How dare you say that is above AOT? AOT is the #1 GOAT. And I'm just here like, you haven't seen Full Metal Alchemist, have you?
Thank you. Oh, can we talk about Attack on Titan?
Yeah. Yes.
It's like how I feel when people say The Exorcist is a boring, overrated movie.
Right, and you're like every modern horror movie that came out is...
You don't know! I go crazy.
And I think, I'm talking as someone who's watched way less anime than you, but even that being said, to appreciate a show like One Punch Man, you have to know the tropes that come from anime. Otherwise, it's like a goofy kind of one-off, who cares kind of show where you're like, why is he OP? Like, it just doesn't even make sense. You have to have experienced those other tropes. I don't know how else to say it.
I don't say you have to. Okay, because I will say, I watched Spaceballs. It's a little irrelevant.
I know Spaceballs.
Spaceballs way before I saw Star Wars. I would not be and I became like a massive Star Wars fan in my early teenage years, especially the original trilogy. If it wasn't for being like obsessed with Spaceballs for years, Like I knew who Pizza the Hut was way before I knew who Jabba the Hutt was.
Sure.
So I think those can still be mediums to like,
They can
or like
stand-
Monty Python and the Holy Grail, like Arthurian legend. I
Before
got
you knew.
more into it because of that. Like I think those can be good gateways.
I'm not saying
frankly.
One Punch is a bad standalone
Yeah.
show, but I hear what you're saying where like it's a little disrespectful to look back and be like,
Sure.
oh, One Piece is too long, therefore it sucks. And it's like,
Mm.
well, the reason why it's so long is because people love it, and it's still being written. It's not even like the manga ended and they're still doing an anime and it's an offshoot. So I totally agree. Going back to real quick, Attack on Titan. People really, really loved Attack on Titan, and they even stand the finale, and they loved it. Period. Like they were just like, yeah, what an amazing show. I fell off of Attack on Titan so hard, you would have thought I got kicked off the edge of a cliff. Like I fell off so hard and was just like, I'm not gonna go back. It's not worth my time. And I didn't finish it. I don't really have regrets. I might go watch it eventually if I'm like homesick with the flu and like just put it on and then see what happens at the end. I don't think that it's comparable to other great animes. I think Full Metal is better.
A slightly hot take right there.
It's a slightly hot take. And I'm going to make enemies and I'm so sorry. No, I'm not.
We're not sorry.
How did you feel about Attack on Titan?
Aaron did nothing wrong. I will say that first.
Okay. Wow.
And, Attack on Titan, don't get me wrong, it's a great anime, especially for the dragging you into the beginning and the storyline.
Yeah.
And I do hear what you're saying with the middle part where it's like they did have that slight fall off.
I was part of it.
But
and I should have came back. I was kind of butthurt. I was just like, man.
How dare they?
Did you appreciate the ending? Did you think they did it justice?
I appreciate the ending. I don't agree with the ending, but I appreciate it.
Okay, two different things. Interesting.
That's just my personal opinion.
No,
I loved it. And it was just like, okay, it's showing I don't know if that's going to be a spoiler.
It came out a really long time. Well, keep it light.
They should have caught up. Okay.
Go for
By
it.
now?
Spoiler alert.
By now?
Spoiler alert. If you skip 5 seconds after this.
Yeah. Just fast forward. Cover your ears.
It's just like the ending was like, all right, cool. He showed the way the world was and the world continued to be, but he stopped it all because all he wanted was his friends to be good.
Yeah.
Because being caught up in a wormhole where you don't even know that there's people outside of it is wild.
Yeah.
Like a bet.
Yeah. That's true.
I'm curious, and again, this is my Western bias kind of coming out, and my lack of anime experience, and also my love of movies. Like movies, I'm more of a movie guy than a TV guy because I believe in the 3-act structure. I like my stories to have an end. So I'm a little cynical when I'm asking this, but when I look at these anime series that last 20, 25, 30 years, and like it's just they keep going for the sake of keeping going, I think of shows like SpongeBob, where the writers left after the 3rd season and it kind of tanked in quality, or The Simpsons, where after season 8 and 9 it still kept going for the sake of going, but it's not the same people who created the show.
Right.
So I'm curious. I know that most anime and manga are more auteur projects where the mangaka, am I saying that right? I hope so.
Mangaka.
Thank you very much.
I got you.
I appreciate you. Is really kind of the auteur and stays like
They have to
on
be tied
the
to it,
project.
yeah.
And like, it was a big deal when Akira Toriyama wasn't a part of Dragon Ball Super. And frankly, I was a kid when Dragon Ball Z was around, and I'm an adult when Dragon Ball Super, but like also I like one, I don't like the other. So I'm curious, and again, I'm kind of asking your expertise, and I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but these shows that are lasting 25, 30 years, is it the same kind of head of creative? Is it the same kind of writers? Is it the same people working on it? Or is it just this kind of fable at this point that's being passed on for the sake of profit? Like, that's my cynical version of looking at it. It's like the Simpsons season 29 I have no interest in. And it's like, because why would I? And to me, is that the same way with anime, or is there something that makes it more?
And do you follow that? And do you even care? Like, if you like the show,
is the quality station, like, is it stable or does it drop, or like what? I don't know. I fucking don't know.
You're right. I'll get attacked for this. Just a complete sidebar for SpongeBob. You're absolutely right. It fell off after season 3, and
I don't think that's
after
a hot
that,
take.
it was just
I don't think that's a hot take at all.
I don't think that's a hot take.
Yeah.
No, I think that's real. I think that's real.
Yeah.
But with animation studios, it's more of this is their child. This is what they've catered to. This is what they've built, and just handing it off is not going to be handed off just to anybody.
Sure.
Like One Piece, Oda is a GOAT, hands down.
Got it.
Even when he was sick through everything, he kept on pushing the content, he kept on pushing the story, but his stories are tied to everything that's damn near everything that's currently still going on now.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, and then with Dragon Ball Z, I can understand because that is his baby, but he saw how well the fandom was growing with it, because not even just America, France, all these other countries are making their own series on YouTube, and then the people are watching it, like Dragon Ball Heroes. He looked at it and he's like, this is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then there was another one that he actually brought
Oh, really?
from YouTube. Yeah, I think it was Dragon Ball Xenoverse or Dragon Ball Zen or something like that.
Yeah.
But
That's cool too. You can appreciate
With the white hair. You're
Yes.
talking- yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
But you liked it so much that people were complaining about it, so you had to go over, like, all right, cool, we're buying this. You're under my wing now.
So cool. Yeah, and that's what I heard too. Was like for the manga of Dragon Ball Super, it was like a super fan of Dragon Ball Z that essentially was under his wing. And
I mean, this is also the whole thing with Full Metal Alchemist and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood was the manga wasn't finished, and this happens all the time. I mean, Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones syndrome, where if
Burn everything.
what do we do at the end? Kill it all. Just, I guess, destroy everything. Fans like that. But I think this is a symptom for all art forms that are adaptations where, if you go off the course because it's not finished yet, obviously you're going to depart from what the original creators probably had in mind. So I think there's something to be said about it, but also you can't make 30 years of content and expect to make 30 more without help. So you have to pass the torch eventually.
I respect that it's a culturally slightly different thing where they will stick with the same project for the benefit of the project as well. Like if that's your baby, and that's more encouraged, I think, a little more in the East than the West. And part of that is because we've made our TV shows to kind of build off of movies and kind of based on like the Western movie Hollywood, like to create a TV show, whereas this is like a long running series where I'm less cynical. I get very cynical about TV shows where I can tell when they're just trying to extend the story for the sake of extending the story.
I feel like we do it all the time, especially in the United States with like things based on video games. We talk about this a lot on our podcast, like, Last of Us and things like that, where they make an adaptation, and is it faithful to it? Do they skip really important stuff because they're trying to cram it into 10 episodes and then the fans hate it, but the people who've never played the games don't know, and you're like, play the original, look it up. Like, you just want to scream at them.
100%.
Do you feel that way about any shows or anything or movies?
Oh, Netflix, Dragon Ball Z, Death Note, Yu Yu Hakusho. Oh my gosh, there's so many.
I feel like live action adaptations of anime, you can real hit or miss. So you like the One Piece?
Yes.
You like that?
I love it.
Even though they shortened some stuff and missed some stuff, you would recommend like go read it or go watch, but you liked it.
Yes. For the people that are absolutely against it and be like, I'm not starting One Piece because it's too long and I don't want to read it. Cool. The director for the Netflix One Piece actually took his time, and you could tell once you compare it to the manga, he delegated every piece of art and put it into that show. And I'm just here like, yo, I'm so proud of this.
Heck yeah.
I'm so proud of it because this is the first time I can actually say that I am pleased aesthetically.
I mean, we've been burned before. We talked about it.
We grew up in an era of cash grabs.
Avatar.
Oh my
It's like you can tell that they didn't
Avatar.
even watch the source material. It's like because you could get away with it for
Seriously.
so long, and it's like to see someone that actually gives just even half of a fuck. Like it's refreshing and it's needed, and it's again, it's like the giving the fuck. Again, it's there's pros and cons to kind of being stuck with the same production for like 30 years. But then the flip side, it's like, can you imagine? I want to live in a world where Frank Darabont continued on Walking Dead past season 1.
Yeah,
it's like it would be
another
such
show.
It would be maybe the best show of all time. But instead,
Based on a graphic novel, like
it's been diminishing returns ever since. And it's like, but in Japan, they would have kept with the showrunner who like made something great and trusted it. And like, there's gonna be some bumps, but like. I'm just, even the One Piece for me is overwhelming, all-encompassing, intimidating, and 30 years that I can't catch up on. As an artist, I'm happy that type of thing exists.
Yeah.
Like the fact that something is a long-running form of entertainment beyond like no offense to Days of Our Lives, like a soap opera.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing, especially with animation, like on everything that goes in with that. Like the fact that this exists at all, the fact that a culture is able to kind of create this is like, it's why anime is the fucking coolest thing, and I wish I knew more about it. Like, goddamn.
Can I make a recommendation?
Please.
Lazarus. Netflix.
Okay. I've heard this name.
The director for Cowboy Bebop is directing that show.
No way.
Yes. So the animation on top of that, oh my, when I say piece of work, I swear to everything. Because I've seen the first episode and I'm just here like, I should have waited.
Is it all out?
I think it's only 3 episodes. They're doing it week by week.
Okay. They're doing the weekly drops. That's how they get you. I've heard Lazarus. Maybe I'll wait until they have a few more episodes out so I can like binge it a little bit. But Cowboy Bebop is a that, and I think like Samurai Champloo are like the ones that I recommend to people.
You spoke to this man's soul right here.
It's just like you can't. It doesn't get like you can get better with different shows and but they're just like we talked about the big 3, but there are pillars for me where I'm like you can't talk about anime without talking about those animes, certain animes. But I digress. We have to. We're running a little low on time, but I want to talk about your podcast. You are a guest on our podcast, but the podcast is real. Is your podcast, and it's real. It's a real podcast. You can listen to it
as opposed to ours, which is
a fake fake podcast. It's a scam.
Don't say that.
What do you guys talk about on your podcast? Is it stuff like this?
So, all right. So, let me put it first. Shout out to my brothers, King Drell, Vocals. They're the ones that started this whole thing off of TikTok.
Oh, sick.
And then I came in during the following season. And then from there, we just been really, literally rocking with each other, bouncing off each other. And we are the fun space. Like, we are the space that we have other people say, I actually like your podcast because I'm not prompted to answer certain questions ahead of time.
Okay.
I feel like it's more of a hangout than an actual business.
Is it always anime?
No, it's not always bad anime.
Okay.
Like,
you don't have the producer or the director telling you like exactly what to say.
Get back on track. Get back on track. Talk more about anime.
Like giving you a line read.
We're like, nope, that's Drell. That's King Drell. Oh.
What?
Whee!
Oh, yeah, okay.
Literally
Good timing on that one.
telling us to move. But you kind of present it as a anime-based podcast. You're all lovers of anime.
100%.
Do you all cosplay?
Yes, we all cosplay.
That's so fun.
So, and actually, my bros, King Drell is consistently hitting 1 million. So I want to shout out to King Drell.
Congrats.
When I say he has been in the anime scene since a long time, he has.
Word.
Do you guys work together for cosplay? Because I can only imagine the potential. Like a family like working together and like that's just the possibilities are
You don't cosplay on the show though.
Well, it depends.
It depends,
because
okay.
we have before.
Okay.
Especially when it comes to our arguments. Well, our debates.
You dress up as the characters and stuff, and
Yeah, we have before.
I love that.
What? Oh my goodness. My bro Vocals and me, I'm not gonna front. He's an admiral. I'm a pirate. Of course I'm gonna go neck to neck with you. Cause then you're gonna be talking about, we took over the island and blew it up. You're like, okay, but you can't catch Luffy. How you gonna beat me? It's so much fun in between it. And we actually just had the voice actor for Tony Chopper.
On the podcast?
Yeah.
On the podcast.
What? Were they cool?
Oh my gosh, she was so amazing.
So cool.
So cool. And so chilled. And we were grateful that she even gave us the time.
Jenna, flattery doesn't make me happy, you bastard. I am not a raccoon dog, I'm a reindeer.
That's what a lot of people ask for.
Oh, I was about to ask that one, so thank you.
I love the flattering line. I ain't gonna lie. I love the flattering.
Well, I love that because that's typically, I'm a lot better at, I've learned how to take a compliment now, but that is how I feel inside, where I'm just like,
Shut up, stop talking to me.
but now I've learned to like, okay, this is how a human takes a compliment.
The podcast is real over on YouTube and on all platforms.
You're on TikTok too. Podcast is real. You guys do clips and stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Before I interrupt you any further, genuinely, like, how can we find your podcast? Like, I want to watch it, and
Well,
I'm all ears.
so if you go to Instagram, we have a link. The podcast is real. Literally, the podcast is real.
Spelt how you would spell all of those words.
Brilliant.
Yep.
I know how to spell
Nothing
all of
extra.
those words.
Go to the Instagram, give them a follow, and then click on the link. It's so easy nowadays. Click on the link, go to YouTube,
Yep.
and hit that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date on cool anime stuff and get recs from more anime experts. not Marcus and I. But man, this has been so much fun. And now, sadly, we're getting to the end of this episode. I feel like we have so much more we wanted to talk about. We'll definitely have you back in the future. We would love to have you back.
With your consent.
With your consent.
Fully
but
consented.
Yay, we did it. But we didn't get to talk about
The cliffhanger. There's
the
thousands of fans that have been holding on with bated breath for your favorite character that we asked at the end of. They thought we forgot. We didn't forget.
Your favorite anime character. Possibly the hardest question you can ask.
As you said, the question you get all the time. That is the question.
The worst question.
Yeah.
But do you have an answer?
So my favorite character is included in the top 5 because I can never just choose one.
That's okay.
I am selfish.
And also, things change. New shows come out and things change. What's your top 3 or top 5?
Yeah.
Ooh, top 5.
Narrow it as
we
much
love
as you
that.
can, and whatever you say first is going to be the number 1.
No.
We're gonna edit around it.
No.
Like in no particular order.
Thank you.
Gyu from Demon Slayer, definitely one of my top 5. Spike from Cowboy Bebop,
Heck yeah. Okay.
definitely top 5. Top 3, Yusuke Urameshi, because he was out here throwing hands from the beginning. People do not understand. Edward Elric. Oh my goodness. My boy went through so much, and I'm so glad that they finished that series off with a movie.
Ugh.
That it was just, again, chef's kiss.
You're all across the board, too. I feel like these are all so different. Okay, keep going. Anybody else?
We said 5. So my last one, I would definitely have to pick.
This is number 5. This is the fringe one.
This is the fringe one. This is the one you got to think
clearly,
about.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
But this is sometimes the hardest one because
Right.
it's like right in the top 5.
And as a mini follow-up, as you ponder, I mean, are these characters that you would want to portray, or is that a completely separate list of like characters that you like are
Wanna
your favorite as
cosplay
someone
as?
as a cosplayer that you could cosplay as, or these are just your favorite characters in general? And when you're asked these things amongst cosplayers, what do they mean when Because I feel like you could
that's
ask.
fair.
It's either I was thinking like but again, I feel like it could go either way. This is a very loaded question. Good luck.
Last one is Yoruichi. Yoruichi, Big Mommy, I love her. Oh my goodness. She has to be in top 5, if not the top.
Oh, wow. Okay, so
You know?
possibly the S tier. But that brings up a good question. Would these all be characters you would cosplay? Maybe not, but...
100% except for Yoruichi.
Okay. And have you cosplayed those other ones, all of them, or no?
Not all of them, but I have done Gyu.
Okay.
Gyu is one of my favorites because he's just a chill guy. He's literally just a chill guy.
Yeah,
So I
he's
imagine
easy.
there's some crossover in who you would want to portray. However, it's not necessarily who you would portray.
Your favorites.
As far as your favorite
Yeah,
character.
that makes sense.
So I respect that. Yeah. It's like you could, I feel like that's almost a litmus test where you'd ask like a faux cosplayer, like, who's your favorite character? And it's like, well, obviously it's Link, or I don't know, whatever the hell you are. That's an anime character, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
like if you ask
Link.
like a real anime character and they're like dressed as like Naruto and they're like, they give some obscure character from
I do kinda
Full
love
Metal
that.
Alchemist. That's a fucking fan right
I do
there.
kind of like that.
And they're like, yeah, but this is like a small Asian girl who I can't play. So like,
There's plenty of people I would love to cosplay as, but there's no way I'm spending the time and the money on the costumes to do it. So like, yeah, sometimes you just want to be like a guy in a suit, and you're like, call it a day. That's great.
But I'm sure there's some crossover between like what
Definitely.
speaks to you and what you like, and similar to, I guess, as we're actors and characters we play. It's like
Totally.
the characters I love the most, I could never play, but like
Yeah.
some of the characters I love, like maybe I could. I don't know. We'll see. Hire me,
I was glad to be invited, and we didn't even get to talk about games.
dude. I
So
know.
much time on anime, but honestly, that's why Next Level Play is the best,
Yeah.
because we talk to people from all over about so many different topics, and next time you're on, we will talk about
Which should
video
be
games.
soon, yes.
Yeah, which should definitely be
Let's
soon.
do it, yeah.
Please plug yourself again. Where can people find your stuff?
Okay, so all platforms is JASIR2Is_GQ. Also, the podcast is real. Everything is spelled exactly how it's said.
So easy. Maybe the easiest handles anybody's ever had. So go give a follow, check him out, check out The Podcast is Real. Thanks for watching. Thank you for coming back. It's been such a pleasure, and I will get that website from you.
We do not pirate over
don't
here. We
pirate.
just work overtime.
Kids, don't pirate. Stick around though. This is not the
tier
end of the
list coming
episode.
up.
We got the
Yeah.
tier list.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some adaptations, so don't cry.
Don't cry. Now, it comes to the tier list. Are you crying?
I'm feeling a little reclamped. It's a new word I learned from Samurai.
Okay, we can't get back to reclamped.
Well, that's gonna come way late.
Verklempt is, I believe, we don't know how it's said. This doesn't matter. We're here for the tier list.
Yeah, I'm crying out of my forehead because I'm so sad.
So sad and sweaty.
Yeah.
I think this tier list is going to be really interesting. Faithful adaptations, ranking from most faithful.
We're ranking based on faithfulity.
The faithfulity.
Yeah.
But we're doing it broad,
Yeah.
so if we miss something, so sorry. But we're trying to do, video games to movies, video
Anything,
games to
anything,
shows, books
anything.
to a movie, anything.
Yeah.
So
Starting with the impetus of this conversation, Last of Us
of
season
course.
2 is still going on at the time of this filming.
But Last of Us TV
So
show.
let's go season 1, part 1. What do you think?
Think faithfulness wise, quite high. Having played all the video games and really enjoyed them and really dug into them, I thought that the TV show does a really good job of world building in such a short amount of time too.
Right.
World building, character development, storylines, even expanding on the storylines of things
Certain
in the
ones
game.
that deserve to be expanded on.
In really
Yeah.
cool ways. I'm just like, they care about the original material source.
Right,
you can
right.
tell.
Yeah.
Production design, like the drawings on the walls of like the underground classrooms.
We talked about bias, but I almost feel like recency bias is like the toughest thing to separate this from, and almost impossible to separate it from, because it's like it's going to be an S or an A, right? Like I don't know where to land on it.
I believe so, and I want to point out
Yeah.
a lot of people have felt wishy-washy about the casting. They didn't feel Pedro Pascal was big enough to play Joel. They didn't feel that Bella Ramsey fit Ellie's profile. They didn't feel that Caitlyn was good for Abby.
I don't know
because
what
she
internet
wasn't built like Abby.
But I don't know what internet you're in where people are complaining about Pedro Pascal. It's I'm sorry, and I'm really not trying to white knight here because
He's daddy.
I don't give a fuck.
To me-
Everyone loves Pedro.
to me, he's Papa.
Bella Ramsey's getting a lot of shit, and it
So
sucks.
is Caitlyn for season 2.
Which but going back to season 1, it's like, if the biggest complaint about the faithfulness of your adaptation is that like the 14-year-old character isn't
Visually
like,
doesn't look
visually what you
exactly-
want, what the fuck
And
are your priorities? Honestly, like
My big thing about adaptations, for
Right.
instance, take Last Airbender, M. Night Shyamalan.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about that later, maybe. Aang sure did look like Aang. Was that child a good actor? No.
Oh, and people, and this is more, now I'm going critic mode, like people have had issues with Bella Ramsey's acting in this role. I feel like season 1 was good. Genuinely.
Personally,
Good. Not Emmy winning, but good. And I think
Personally-
season 2, there's been more controversy with that, and we'll see how that kind of develops. And I think that argument holds more weight, admittedly. But also, I feel like you're missing the forest through the trees.
Personally, if you have wonderful actors
Yeah.
who are portraying the characters well but don't look exactly like them, I'm confused about what you're mad about.
I agree,
It's its
yeah.
own. It's becoming its own IP technically.
Right.
Like it's its own thing. They're not going to
Yeah.
look like the computer created characters. Those people don't exist.
Right. I think ultimately, and I want to land my take on this, Bella Ramsey, for the uphill battle that she faced.
Yeah.
Working with a seasoned actor of 40 years that's beloved
Yeah.
in the sci-fi and fantasy and video game community, Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, and they're both lead roles.
Yes.
Kind of vying
and,
for lead.
And knowing that you were going to have, like, Ellie's a very cherished character. Honestly, like,
And a
there's
tough-
nothing I can knock on her
Yeah.
for how she handled season 1. And season 2, I've yet to really experience. So the people who are complaining, I don't...
I give it a
I don't
high
get
A, a low S.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
I wanna bring
I'm
it-
so sorry. We
I
talked
want to
about
bring
that the
it
whole
to
time.
2 shows that I've really, really enjoyed, and I think stick close to the source material, but have created their own beautiful worlds. Arcane from League of Legends, which takes a prequel to the characters that exist in League of Legends and sort of their origin stories.
Right.
Some of which has sort of been fleshed out in the game, like you kind of know backgrounds of characters, but most of which was created to fill that past that we didn't know about. And I think they knocked it out of the park. It's so good. It's such a good
Sure.
show. This is a tricky one because the faithfulness,
Because
they're making it up. But
That's my thing. yeah.
faithful to the future
But
characters.
we're not ranking quality. Quality is a small factor.
Faithful
but like, yeah.
to what the characters become. It's hard to write a past for a character that already
Yeah.
exists and has such like a massive personality.
When you play a game like League of Legends, where literally like you watch anyone play and this is the footage.
Yeah, that's me when I play. More clicking even. Like, yeah. And
And then
I
you
just
have
get
like
scared.
you have Arcane as like one of the most brilliant fucking animated series things ever. Like incredible, you know, winning all the awards. It's an S tier product, but as an adaptation,
I would put
I almost like it's almost even lower because of
I'd
how
put it
just,
in A.
like from this to like epic like tales
Yeah.
of sacrifice and like poverty and like
Family.
it's like what the fuck?
A.
For an adaptation, I'm dropping it to a D. We can compromise at like a
A.
C.
B.
B it is.
Art
of the deal.
Castlevania, the second show I wanted to talk
Oh
about.
wow, okay.
Really enjoy the show.
Yeah.
I think, again, hard to faithful meter it
Right,
with
right.
the game because the game is just a side scroller. You're just whipping chains.
Compared to Arcane,
Yeah,
I feel like
more faithful.
more faithful.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the first series is surprisingly similar to the plot of Castlevania 3
Yes.
from 1980 fucking 8.
And the characters that come in, it's
and
like
then Alucard
kind
in
of
season 2, it's like
kind
not
of
Alucard,
on
but
beat.
yeah, Riker in
Riker,
in
yes,
season
of course.
2. Yeah,
and
yeah,
what's
yeah.
her face?
What's her
Cypher.
face? Yes,
Cypher.
but truly, it's like it is actually faithful to
I think
what they're
it's pretty
adapting.
damn
Yeah.
faithful and a really good show. I would put it in an A, maybe an S for faithfulness, but
A because it's still doing its own thing.
it's still doing its own thing.
It's like where Last of Us, it's like, you know, you have this incredible narrative video game, and the show kept the incredible narrative plot. And it's like, it's somewhat one-to-one. Whereas now we're taking 8-bit video game titles and creating these anime-esque, like, epics. It's
You give one because I
great sort. Okay, well, let me get Snarkus first.
Okay.
My favorite book series ever, The Dark Tower. Gonna put at a D if our tier list is lower, an F. It's the worst fucking adaptations ever. It's awful. It fucking sucks. Lord of the Rings, though, one of my second favorite like fantasy series, Peter Jackson's trilogy.
yes.
To me is an F.
Including
It
The Hobbit?
No, that is a C. That's how much that swing is.
Yeah.
But Lord of the Rings is an achievement in filmmaking. I'm a film guy. Like they will never make another trilogy with practical effects and a budget like that ever again, which
Yeah.
is a shame. Well, they might, but as it currently stands. So for me, I fucking love Lord of the Rings and I fucking hate The Dark Tower. And The Hobbit is a weird kind of combination of the two, where it's like a cash out, cash grab, lazy fucking adaptation, but also, you know, prequel to the greatest fucking adaptation, arguably of all time, with Peter Jackson at the helm. So it's tough to tough to gauge.
I want to throw you a curveball.
Ooh.
Feature film Detective Pikachu.
Oh.
Faithful? Question mark?
Yeah. I think as far as faithfulness, it's like an A. It has a similar humor and vibe. Detective Pikachu doesn't take itself seriously.
Yeah. And this movie definitely didn't.
No, and honestly, this movie could have easily been memed, could have easily been lampooned. I think it was as good as it could have been. It's not for me. Like I stopped at Silver and Gold Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like Pokemon to me was like never got into Pokemon Go. So I respect Detective Pikachu, both the game and the movie, but they're not really for me. And I do think that the movie, they take like a Japanese like humor game and they turned it into like kind of a Western movie with like a similar kind of transition of that humor and like the joke. Oh, it's Pikachu, but he's also like a gruff noir detective.
Right, and he can talk.
It's some weird. It's a
Yeah.
weird concept. It's very like Japanese and fun, but also like.
Where do you want to put it,
I
though?
like the creativity as an adaptation is concerned, like an A.
An A? I think it was pretty
Yeah,
good. Now
yeah.
I want to give one that I think is quite bad as a wrap up. The 2016 film Assassin's Creed.
Oh boy.
Did you see it? Michael Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender, I was gonna say,
Michael
like-
Fassbender's in it.
I didn't see it. It. To me, I'm like all I can think of is like Middle East, like exciting kind of caper acrobatic. The fact that there's a Jake Gyllenhaal movie of Prince of Persia, which came out when I was in high school and held a weird place in my heart. It's like I feel like they're the same movie, and I didn't see but
I know.
I don't know. I can't speak
It's-
to how faithful it
It's
is.
here's the
frankly.
thing. It's pretty faithful, and the
Yeah.
game developers were part of the film. Like
Yeah.
they were there. But I think, man, you need a bigger budget to do Assassin's Creed right.
Also,
Like the movie itself, you didn't see it.
anyone?
No,
Yeah,
no
like,
one.
that's the thing.
It flew so far under the radar.
Right.
But I think for faithfulness,
I was like moving to New York at the time. Like I didn't care.
for
But
faithfulness, it at least deserves a B because it really is quite faithful to the story.
to what story though? Like the original or the Ezio trilogy or
I
like
think it's the Ezio.
modern like, hey,
Let me
we're gonna
see.
do a Severance type or whatever. No Time for Tomorrow.
It's
Source
Assassin's
code
Creed.
thing.
It was ripped apart by both critics and audiences alike, but fans of the game will admit it was bad. Appreciate that story and world display, thrilling tone. Assassin's Creed. Can't tell. I can't tell what game it's actually based off of. I'll have to look into that. Again, no one saw it.
I'm gonna just. I think we gotta just
Let's
I think we
put
gotta
it-
just put it at a C at this point.
Let's put it
after
at a
all
C.
that.
Let's put it at a C because the world was correct. And fans of the game were like, looks
Right.
like the game, but then everyone who watched it was like, this movie is fucking terrible.
Much like Creed itself, there's some staunch defenders, I'm sure.
Can you take
me higher?
We
Not on the
have
tier list.
to end the
No,
tier list. We
yeah.
can't go any higher than that. That's the end of it. But stick around. This is not the end of the episode. We have post-market news.
And we're gonna embrace Samurai with arms wide open.
So stick around.
Welcome back to Next Level Play. We almost got through it, Sydney. We have one more segment. It's post-market news with Samurai.
So don't go anywhere because he's got important predictions. He's got important futuristic. He can see with his third eye into the future of gaming.
That's right. That's right. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Not only am I a professional streamer who makes a lot of money every single day,
Millions.
I also
Wears the same clothes.
there's the same
every
clothes
day.
because I am paid in endorsement deals
Got
to
it.
wear
That's
them.
That's what it is.
Not only am I a successful streamer, I also, as an act of charity to give back to the community, I come on this show and I issue predictions in the form of PSAs for the greater community.
You do this as a charitable give back?
Oh yes. Oh yes. Why else would I come here?
I thought you'd get paid.
To come here? No.
Oh.
No. I'm only. I do this as an act of charity.
He insisted.
Yes, I get paid plenty by donations.
You're paying us to come on the show.
Yeah, yes, just to be near me. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's $75 meet and greet fee.
Yeah.
Once
Oh.
again,
You weren't
can
supposed to know
Venmo
about
me.
this, Sydney. I'll slip you your cut. in a little
Oh,
bit.
okay.
Sorry about that.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Gotta keep the lights on at Samurai HQ. But anyway, all this streaming talk brings me to my next prediction.
Okay.
So, we're all familiar with sim games, yeah?
Yes!
We got
That's
Sid
Sydney's.
City right here. Sid City.
I love the Sims!
Yeah,
She
love
does
the Sims, love
like
to
the
sim out.
Sims.
We
Yeah.
all love to sim sometimes.
Yep,
Yep. Yep, exactly.
Is that the sim?
There we go.
Samurai, go on.
So we all are in the know now. So my prediction today is that in an upcoming Sims game, it'll be called Sims Retort 360. The premise of this game is that you will get to simulate the experience of being a highly acclaimed and popular and beloved and dashingly handsome streamer. You can pick a title, perhaps, based on some kind of historical warrior archetype. That's up to you. And in the game, you will get to have retorts, comebacks. You'll have to fight back against trolls who enter the chat and try to diminish the power of your stream. You'll have to go there. The mods, they freeze out the mods. They block the mods. What do? You got a game. You got to be here in the zone. You got a game. You got to give the people what they want. You got to be the best at gaming, but you also have to have the best shit talk in the land to shut the trolls down. They enter there, you hit them with a sick burn, and then they're out of there.
Why
Two
would
games at once.
I not just go onto the internet? There's plenty of trolling. I can just go on, Facebook comments,
Well,
YouTube
because
comments, Twitch.
but you can do that, but you can't be a successful world-class streamer in real life without years and years of experience, natural, dashing good looks. There's certain things that are just out of the control of the average Joe.
You know, this might actually be very therapeutic for me because one of the things that I'm so afraid of with playing online games, with strangers, PvP stuff, first-person shooters, is the trash talk. People can be mean.
People can be mean.
The internet is a scary place. And I hate playing games like that because I'm like, I'm not good at trash talking. And I love simulation games. And I feel like I'm quite good at simulation games. I really enjoy them. So maybe this is actually like the perfect environment for me to hone my skills in trash talk while enjoying the simulation game. Because yes, Marcus, you could just go out on the internet, but I'm scared.
I don't think there's anyone who's clamoring for the positive aspects of the trolling on the internet. There's already a reputation for video game communities being a bit toxic. I feel like this is only going to empower and encourage such toxic behavior.
No, because it's not for the toxic people. It's for people like me who don't know what to say when an 8-year-old tells me to go fuck myself.
Think of it as the dojo mark.
Because no matter what you say, you lose. When you respond to the 8-year-old, you're already losing, and they are also winning the game. So you're like losing both ways.
You're
you know?
expecting gamers to spend money to go and have like an algorithm or AI insult them? Is it going to get personal? Because that's the thing. I mean, I feel like human ingenuity is going to find a way to have
They're
that
gonna
needle.
find. Oh yeah, they're gonna find my
They're
weakness.
going to cut deeper than any kind of video game can prepare you for.
There will be machine learning. They'll learn your play style.
No.
Your insecurities?
your
Are they going to
insecurities.
do a body scan?
Do they know?
and,
Do they know
like-
my kill count and accuracy?
Yes.
Oh,
they'll know everything.
no.
They'll know everything.
This seems like it's just going to magnify people's insecurities and like issues that they're already facing personally.
No,
It's in a mirror.
it's a dojo, a gym setting that you enter to toughen up, to hone your skills, to get better at gaming, and to get better at deflecting the trolls. Let me tell you, for my career as a successful streamer, it's tough out there.
It's
without the
incredibly
practice.
masochistic. I mean, I could see if there's like a power fantasy type situation here where you can, like mess with the trolls and kind of like really get revenge. But obviously, they're going to be guarded behind. First of all, they're fake. This is, an artificial
Right, it's a
kind of
dojo.
thing.
It's a safe space.
Right.
But like, what? I
think we
don't
should take it
see
one
the
step further.
I don't think the catharsis is there either.
No, but here's what you do: you upload a photo of yourself in a full body photo,
No.
and then in the character creation, it creates the most hyper realistic, accurate avatar of you, just like in The Sims. We all love to make ourselves in The Sims. At least I do. And you basically put yourself in the game, and then the AI learning is like, hey, nice beard. Like they can see you. It's like they can see you, Marcus.
Wait, as like insulting my beard? And,
You
like,
don't know. You don't know. It's the scrubs, nice eyebrows.
So you're predicting, or you're looking for an AI that is going to be specifically designed to
Be mean.
target.
to be mean to you.
Why are we giving the power to the computer like that? That's not
Because
a good
it's
fucking
a
idea.
dojo,
You've seen Terminator.
Marcus. It's a dojo for training.
All right, Sharks.
Seems more like a dodo prediction to me.
All right, Sharks. I've heard this. I've heard enough. I'm willing to offer you $15 million for 10%.
That's a ridiculously gross overinflation.
I'm in. I'm gonna give this Mr. Burns on the Simpsons meter.
I'm going to give this a full-on nuclear power plant meltdown
Whoa.
on the prediction meter, personally.
Samurai, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too, Sydney. Marcus,
Oh.
you're a guy I sit next to sometimes.
That's fair.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for sticking around for our post-market news segment with our favorite psychic samurai. We'll be back with more Next Level Play where we will talk about video games, talk about esports.
Make some predictions, have some exciting guests,
And
exciting segments.
Talk to Samurai again.
And talk to
Yay.
Samurai again.
We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for watching.